Yeah. Actually, I'll take that because I could show Clash of Clans on this, even though it is an Android game. It also works on It looks okay. One of the things they did really well.
Tough audience.
Is the cross-platform integration. In fact, you log into your Google Plus account, and it stores your settings on Google Plus. So
I love that.
It's cross. I mean, you don't have to use Game Center or anything. It's totally cross-platform. But we don't have to if it really is offensive to you.
You know, Leo, it's up to you, and any hate mail that I get, I will just forward along to you.
This is an Android game, but it's a larger screen to show. I can show it on my Moto X.
It's up to you.
So we've set a pretty high bar of expectations.
Yeah, but it looks better.
All right. I'm glad to do it.
It's not like we ever talk
do we have
about
the over-the-shoulder shot set up yet?
Oh, yeah. Do we have product shots
Before we start? Oh, there's one.
Where are they?
That's
yours.
That's going to work for me, too. I can
Can you
use
do
that.
that
Oh, yeah. I'm like Ginger Rogers. I did everything Fred did backwards.
Okay, that works.
Heels.
Works for me. Might be a little awkward for where you're sitting, Leo. But
Yeah, if you can.
you're a pro. You got this.
No.
Oh, my sister.
All right, we all good to go? All right, yeah. Go ahead and play it, and we'll get the show on
Just
the road.
do it.
Thank you, Brian. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of All About Android, episode 142, recorded on Tuesday, December 31st, New Year's Eve, 2013. Actually, 14.
Wow.
Like I'm
It's gonna
usually
ahead.
a year behind at the new year, and now I'm a year ahead before the new year. Hopefully, we are still your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Ron Richards.
And I'm Aaron Newcomb.
And this guy
Where?
right over
you?
here.
Hey, how are you?
Maybe you know him.
I've never been on this show.
First
No,
time.
yeah,
First
really?
time.
Never been on this show.
We are
Holy moly.
blessed to have you here on New Year's Eve.
Despite the fact that I'm a devoted Android user.
Absolutely.
And I have been for several years. I really love Android. So I'm glad to be here.
Awesome.
I do watch the show. That's where I get all my Android tips for Twig.
Yeah, exactly. And all of your favorite apps to install.
Steal
from
all
the
my
internet.
apps.
This week, obviously, it's going to be a little bit different. Like, I was going through and checking out the news and everything.
It's been a slow news week, I think.
Yeah. no news.
Christmas and all
pretty
that. Yeah.
So thought, why don't we just kind of have an open discussion on, kind of the things that we really liked as regards to Android from this last year, maybe the things that we don't.
It might.
all that kind of stuff.
It could be so bold as to say that this was a banner year for Android. This
Absolutely.
might have been one
absolutely.
of the strongest years for the operating system.
This is the year that puts it over the top, in my view.
No question in my mind. I mean, the Nexus devices have always been really impressive because they've been pure Android. This is the first year where you could really say pure Android bested every single other carrier version of Android. I mean, Motorola Blur gone, thank goodness. Samsung's TouchWiz has gotten worse.
Oh, man.
And I got a Note 3 the other day. It's barely usable. It's grotesque.
Yet Samsung still dominating
Number one.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah, putting out great devices, that's for sure.
Their hardware is great, and it's interesting. I guess the Google edition of the Galaxy S4 probably has not outsold the TouchWiz version,
don't
but
think
gosh,
so.
it's so much better.
Yeah.
And I think people are starting to realize that this is the year of the turnaround. If you
Yeah, and I think not only that, but also the hardware. I think this is one of the best years of the handsets themselves, the physical, whether it's the Nexus 5 or the Moto X or the HTC One. Like we just got such great, devices now to go with that.
Yeah.
I think it's I have all the confidence in the world recommending an Android phone to a new user and saying, yes, you'll get everything you need out of it.
Yeah. I had an iPhone user at work come up to me the other day and say, I'm looking to get a new phone, and I really like the Samsung, the S4. Should I get it? And I'm like, no, you shouldn't. No, of course I said, yes, get it. It's awesome. I pulled out mine. I let him play.
I have hesitations,
It's like,
though,
look at
because of the
this.
Samsung crap.
Yeah.
I think it's a little ungainly and more overcomplicated. To me, I use a Moto X, and I feel like that's the ideal phone for an iPhone user. It's the closest to kind of a simple iPhone experience for somebody who's used an iPhone.
Yeah, but it
This
still
is
has
the one I
some of the improvements. I mean, it's not
huge.
crazy, but they still have some improvements over the base OS
But
that people
in
love.
every
both
respect,
sides.
it's an improvement, though, I think.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
absolutely.
It
Those
doesn't
are
take
improvements
away.
that really actually benefit you. Like
Right.
Samsung, They throw a lot of, kind of whiz-bang features into their devices, and it's what you hear about, when they do their Broadway musical and show you all about their stuff.
I just added that to them.
Good. I'm happy
good.
Was that
there.
this year?
Yes, it was.
God, I wish
Biggest
that would
one.
recede in the mirror.
But, so it makes a good demonstration, but when it really comes down to it, how many people that bought the Samsung device are really using those, that laundry list of checkboxes that are in settings?
Right.
How many people are really using those to improve how they use their
And they're still
device on a
showing
daily
those in the
basis?
commercials. I was watching commercials during the football game this weekend. They're showing off the S4, and they were showing the hover touch thing. And it's I don't know anybody that uses that. People just touch it. Just touch it. It's okay. It's like, what are you, germaphobes? Why do you have to hover? Like, it just works fine. So
However,
they're still
I have
showing
to say,
those features.
on the Note series, when
Yeah.
you've got the S Pen and you hover over the top and you get that kind of indicator as
Right.
far as where it's at and everything, that's actually incredibly useful.
Yeah, so that's
in
a
some
different
ways,
interface
it's-
with the pen.
yeah.
I mean, that makes more sense, right? But I didn't. What they were showing on the commercial was just someone hovering over like a list of tweets, and look, she's like a centimeter
Yeah,
above, and she's not touching it. It's like,
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
well,
You gotta hover
why
over the
just
top.
touch it?
Just touch
Burn
it.
an extra calorie.
So big wins of 2013. Like you said, 2013, awesome year for Android, I think, on a lot of different fronts. And I don't know, we can just kind of name some of these. The one at probably the top of my list, because I use it all the time, is Chromecast. I use Chromecast every day.
And that was late in the year too, wasn't it? That was like fall, right, when they rolled out, didn't it? Or it was summer? It was
Yeah, it was summer,
Yeah.
midsummer.
So a lot
I'd
of
say.
people got it for Christmas this year. So a lot of Instagram photos of people setting up their Chromcasts. And yes.
That's a great product at a great price point. It makes people's lives easier. It's convenience factor, right? I used it today to play some music because on my Google TV device, it doesn't, for some reason, it always locks up. And I'm like, screw it. I got the Chromecast. I'll just throw it over to Chromecast. It works.
It's great, and you
So-
can do the Google Radio, and the Play, whatever it's Play Now or whatever they call it.
Right.
For $35, you can't say no.
But
Exactly.
it's clearly a device that hasn't come into its own yet.
Yes.
It was so much promise.
potential.
We're starting to see more HBO
Yes.
goes there now. Hulu Plus is there now. But I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. And what it looks like is going to happen, we have some interest in that because, of course, TWiT has
Yes.
an app on Android, an app that is not Chromecast enabled, not because our developer doesn't have the code. It's easy to put the code in, but because Google is a gatekeeper and they haven't said yes. But it sounds like 2014 will be the year Google finally just says, whoever wants to do it, go ahead. It's going to be automatic. They're no longer going to, I'm hoping, they're no longer going to be a gatekeeper.
Yeah, I mean, if we hit the end of 2014 and the new kind of reality is not, this is a multimedia app that you're going to want to watch on your TV.
Of course
Does it have a
it's
Chromecast
Chromecast.
button on there?
Of course
if it
it's
does,
Chromecast.
if we're not at that reality where all of those great apps have that button, then Google really did something.
So they blew
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and they it's theirs to win. There's no
Yeah.
reason not to at this
It's
point.
so easy to use. Like
Yeah.
my 4-year-old knows how to do this. She picks up Netflix. The first thing she does is hit that box and hit living room. She can't even read living room, but
Wow,
she knows to
really?
do it, and that
Wow.
activates it to the
That
TV.
was one
It's
concern I
very
had, is that
easy
it
to
might be
use.
non-intuitive, that somebody might say, well, okay, I connect this to my TV. I then would have to launch an app called Chromecast and then set it up. And that seems a lot of extra steps. On the other hand, this is the first really completely cross-platform
Yep.
hardware from Google. This works on Android. It works on iOS. It works on Chrome, on any platform, including your Pixel. And that is really fabulous. I
Yeah.
mean, that means you've got the hardware to use it. If you could figure out how to use it, you're ready to go. It's become the easiest way for me to find a Netflix movie. I mean, it's much easier, isn't it, to find a Netflix
Totally.
movie on a portable device and then cast it,
Right.
than using the crappy interface.
Oh man, going on my
Yeah.
PlayStation 3 and thumbing through there. Actually,
painful
for me,
now.
my TV only has one HDMI input. So if I want to go to PlayStation 3 now, I actually have to pull the Chromecast out. And so the more I can get into Chromecast,
Dude, you
the
need
better it
an
is. I'll sell my
AV
PS3.
receiver. You need an AV
Yeah.
receiver.
Buy
Get an
something else.
HDMI switcher. for goodness sakes.
That's what I need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
What else? What other things that you
I'm
guys?
surprised you guys haven't been talking about Glass. There it is sitting
No,
right
I
in
mean,
front of you.
hey,
Glass-
that's certainly part of the list.
Was this not the year of Glass? And it is an Android device.
Yeah, this is the year that it became a reality and became less of a punchline and more of a coveted thing. I mean,
And-
you have
yeah.
people begging for invites and wanting to get their hands up, paying $1,500.
Actually, today, news today, I believe anyone who is a Play Music All Access subscriber.
You paid the $7.99 early on, or $10
right,
a month
the
now.
monthly fee.
You can get Glass for a mere
Oh,
for
nice.
$1,500.
just $1,500, folks.
That's all.
That's all.
Step right up. That is kind of a stopping point.
It's
Yes.
a big stopping point. What I'm kind of curious about in all this is, like, everybody expects that at some point Glass is going to drop in price. Yet we
no proof.
continue to see this opening of the gates for people at the $1,500 price point. Maybe $1,500 is the price.
Oh, I hope not.
I hope not either. I mean, because that was my whole thing is that like it's really cool. I don't know if it's $1,500 cool, and like I can't
I've turned it
justify
down.
it.
This will be the third opportunity to buy that I've turned down. I turned down the opportunity to buy yours. I
Even
turned
though you
down the
bought it
invitation.
anyways, and
Well, I
I
bought it,
have
but
it.
I didn't want it.
Right.
I mean, I actually paid for it. I didn't use it.
Yeah.
And then I turned down the Glass Explorer invitation that you could have sent me. Didn't do it. And now this opportunity. I am a subscriber to All Access. It's too much money, and I don't. I heard you say on TNT yesterday. You don't wear that very much anymore.
No, I use it for experiences. I use it for experiences, and for that, it is amazing. Case in point, Christmas morning, I had it charging up next to my bed. My daughter woke up. It was time to go see what Santa Claus did. Threw on my Google Glass. Everybody in our house, at least, doesn't make fun of me when I wear it. And
Daddy's got his weird headgear
I know.
on again.
Lucy, my 4-year-old daughter, might laugh at me every once in a while, but it's kind of cute, and I'm recording it, so whatever. And I got the whole 5 minutes of her walking out into the living room, discovering her dollhouse,
And that's
seeing the Santa ate the cookies.
Is that better
all
than?
kind of stuff.
I guess it's a
Yes.
better experience than holding up
Because
the camera.
I can engage with her. I'm not.
Right.
There's not this wall, this barrier
Yep.
of this black device that's between us.
Yeah.
There's this device that's on my head.
Right.
But it's different. Like, she can look in my eyes and I can look in her eyes.
And it's not intrusive to her. I think that's
No.
the most important.
Yeah.
No,
She
especially the more used to it they get. And I think that's where Glass needs to improve. The promise is so great, and I've had many magical moments with Glass, but people just aren't ready to see that, aren't ready to encounter that in everyday, walking around the street and suddenly you walk up on someone that's wearing glass. If you've never encountered that before, a million things run through your head as far as what's happening at that point. They're taping me, that everything that I'm saying is being broadcast on the internet, whatever, and it's all misinformation, but that's a big hurdle. And for wide acceptance of it, that needs to be tackled.
I think once that gets incorporated into actual physical glasses, that'll be less intrusive. If I just have an extra little dot up here where the camera is for people to see, I think that'll be a lot less intrusive than it is right now. It's like, what do you have, a small monobrow going on? Oh wait, there's a camera. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I think that once it gets incorporated into actual glasses and sunglasses and things, I think it'll be more acceptable.
What's the price point, and will it be this year? What will they hit?
That's a good question.
$200, $300, $400?
If I had to guess, 400.
Yeah.
See, I'm not gonna
I
buy
feel
it.
like $399 is
That's
the
what we said
number.
that was a couple weeks ago,
$399 is the one. That's
think you're
where
right.
I would consider it. But even then, I'm like, oh, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
It's not compelling yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's got to give you that killer app. I mean, like right now, it seems too much like a novelty. Like until I have the thing where, yes, I can do this aspect of my life better. And for me, honestly, it's once Google comes out with the watch and it's tied to the phone, it's tied to the watch, it's tied to the glass, then you've got this whole kind of, exoskeleton that you've built around you around Android. Then it becomes kind of more interesting, because like, for example, I had my family visiting this past weekend and we're walking around San Francisco and we're touring and they want to go see Lombard Street. And I don't know them. I know the city, but I don't know it by heart. And I couldn't help but think, I'm like, oh, if I had glass, I could just pop on a map and I wouldn't have to constantly be looking at my phone and, like those kind of things. But again, $400 worth to do that. I mean, it's still a novelty, So.
Yeah.
Is it possible that the things that will put glass over the top are apps we haven't really thought about yet? I'm thinking of Trey Ratcliffe. He has created a mentoring group. I don't know if you've seen what he's doing. Of people sign up to be a master, and then somebody signs up and says, I'm looking for a master in photography and a variety of other arts, including painting and so forth. The master will wear glass, and his mentee or his apprentice will tune in via glass and watch the master paint a painting. She'll learn how to do that.
I think that's a brilliant
Training.
use
That's
of
a
the
unique
form
new
factor.
way of using it that maybe is going to be what could put it over the top.
Yeah, I keep thinking of that too. Industrial applications like operating, in hospitals. I mean, it could be incredibly useful, I would think. If you're in a plant and you're working and you need to know like what are the steps to build this particular part, instead of like you just pull them right up on your glass and it shows you exactly what to do. I mean, it's
or like meters or some sort of thing, like if you're monitoring things, you're monitoring pressure or PSI or something like that. I mean, Wired, the cover of Wired this month is about the wearable computer revolution. I had to laugh because the cover of Wired was basically saying what we said on the show about a year ago.
Matt Honen's article is fantastic.
Yeah, which
He says a year with glass was the
I
article.
completely echo pretty much everything he said on it from a user of glasses perspective. I was like, yes, this is how I feel.
But what was interesting was the bit about the ski goggle company. So there's a company that makes ski goggles. It's not glass, it's not Android, but they're ski goggles with the glass-like thing. And so for a skier, you see when you're skiing, you see the wind speed, your speed, the map, like all this information that applies to what you're doing.
And you see all of that before you see the tree that you suddenly hit.
Exactly.
Yeah, big warning.
Wait a minute. I still wasn't looking where I was
I'm not
going.
sure heads-up displays are such a good idea in that respect.
You're watching a movie as you're skiing, you know.
Every time, though, I hear about glass, I hear about these kind of specialized uses. A Christmas morning or maybe, surgery. It's great for cooking because I don't have to hold a cookbook. But it's not the kind of thing somebody's going to spend even $300 on just for those specialized things, unless that's something they do all the time.
Right. And to get the biggest benefit from glass, you have to be okay with the fact that you're charging it every day and you're putting it on every morning when you leave the house. Like, because so much of it is about, pulling you away from your phone, putting the notifications in your head, giving you that instant voice activated access to things that you only get if you actually are wearing it.
Right.
And that's a huge
You
hurdle.
have to commit to it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something controversial. I don't think Google ever intends to make glass a product. I think what they're doing is studying how you and the other glass explorers are using it. They're gathering data points for what wearable computing might look like, what applications there might be. They're getting a lot. I mean, Google's a data-driven company. And I think they know that this isn't the form factor. And I don't know if anybody knows what the form factor is, but what Google's smart is, hey, if we can get, how many thousands of people are wearing glass? If we can get those people to use it and give us some information about how people might use wearables, when we finally do to get a form factor that makes sense, we'll have information no one else will.
Man, and that actually makes perfect sense to me now that I think about it.
That's why they're not,
because they're getting the people to buy into it, and it's $1,500. Yes, that's expensive, but they're going through these methods that are only pulling in the people that are truly would be committed to this. They'll pay the money. They'll wait for the invite, whatever way that happens to be.
That's people who use it.
Or whatever. And those are people that are going to give them that information to help them make it better. If they come out with this as a
it's not a consumer product.
Even if it's less expensive, I still don't think it's going to do well. It's going to do okay in the tech kind of circle,
early adopter
circle, but beyond that, and that's what Google wants, is they want beyond that. It's not going to do well.
I still think it is the best form factor, though. That's available right now.
Better than the watch.
Better than the watch. Absolutely better than the watch. It's non-intrusive, or somewhat non-intrusive. I mean, a watch still, if you think about what they were saying about having to look down at your phone, even a watch, you have to look down at it, right, to do whatever it is you're going to do. With this, it's right in your face.
Yeah, it's already right there.
Hopefully not too much in your face, and you can keep your heads up. You can look at what you're doing, and you don't have to take your attention away from it. So I think that if it's not this, what's it going to be? I mean,
Contact
I don't know.
lens.
Well, that would be awesome.
It's got to be, I mean, like Terminator. Kind of,
exactly.
I don't know how far-fetched that is.
But like from a battery, like
how do you
powered
keep it
perspective,
charged,
how do
or-
you do that?
Well, we haven't figured that out yet. I mean, we'll get there.
Okay, how far down the line?
There's energy in the human body. It's gonna.
I mean, we're still working on this battery.
Don't you think Google's pretty long-term focused, though? That they could very easily say, well, we got to get this information. We don't know what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
And maybe they are doing a moonshot on contact lens-based heads-up displays. I don't know.
Implants.
I think it has to be a heads-up display, right? From what we've said, it has to be something that you can continue to do what you're doing, look straight ahead, but still get the information. I think having this over your ear and the ungainly screen here, I find it uncomfortable. I mean, that's part of the reason.
It is, and after a while, it starts to get warm, and that side of your head starts to get a little hot. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we have to get used to the notion that we might all have like visors on. I don't know. Right. Jason Snell says the smart hat. There's got to be a heads-up display.
Yeah,
I think, right?
Mm-hmm. It's gotta be.
I agree with you. The watch is a little. It's not much. It's not enough better than the phone that it's going to make it.
It's not a leap.
The watch is a good sensor, though. It can sense blood pressure and heart rate and things like that. So maybe the watch is part of an overall scheme. But I think the heads-up display is this thing that has to be solved. And I'm not sure what Google's thinking, but it can't be that.
No.
Or even just
that's the Apple
glasses you're wearing and having something that's
I see no reason this couldn't this couldn't have a heads-up display here.
Yep.
And people that don't normally wear glasses would be okay with wearing regular glasses if they look like regular glasses.
Aaron, these are comfortable, right?
Absolutely.
We're used to
Mine are
this.
totally
We've worn this since I was in 4th grade. I'm completely comfortable with this. It doesn't have a battery. It doesn't get hot. I can see through it. And I think maybe that's why I like that idea, heads-up display versus the glasses. I'm clear, is not a heads-up display. It's a separate screen that you look up at.
Right.
I don't like that. I would much rather be looking through something.
Yep. And think about some of the transparent displays, some transparent phones we've seen some of the mock-ups on. So it's totally doable, right? Because you can already see some of these prototypes in the wild. Now, how much it actually gets in the way of your vision and things like that, we'll have to see. But I think you're right, Leo. I think that's the best option, at least for me.
Yeah,
and that technology is doable.
It is.
That they could do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think we're going to see that in 2014, though. As much as I would love
Would that not be killer?
That would be
That
awesome.
never
If they
know.
came out of the
$100
gate with that, then it'd be like, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Never
not in
know.
our predictions, but we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Real quick, some of the other wins before we kind of get to some of the flops here. What do you think? Nexus 5, HTC One, Samsung?
Like I said earlier, the hardware. I think this year was the year of great hardware.
Yeah,
I mean, the Nexus 5 is probably the best Android phone I've owned since the start. I think I laugh and we're talking about LG. Do you remember a couple of years ago when Eileen reviewed an LG phone and we're like, LG, who wants an LG phone?
Yeah.
Right? Meanwhile, I'm like, this is the best
was
phone.
great too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they turned it around. I don't know how they did it, but they did. Yeah.
And somehow they got Google to buy into it, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the big thing is they got the Nexus 4, Nexus 5, the G2. So somehow they I don't know, maybe they've got a really good partnership person over there at LG that deals with Google folks. But I think it's a coup for them to get two Nexus devices. And why it wasn't a Motorola device? I mean, that I thought for sure the Nexus 5 was going to be Motorola. But you know,
the integration continues.
Yeah, but I think I like what you say, Ron. But I think that it really, what makes it the year of the hardware isn't that the hardware was so great, but it was that the hardware plateaued. It's like there's all these great phones, immatured, exactly. There's all these great phones, and there's not just like, oh, now we've got a display that's twice as big, and then we've got a display that's it's like the
RAM.
exactly. The displays are all about the same size now. We're not doing leaps and bounds in terms of CPU speeds and things like that. It's like, okay, we've got a lot of great phones to choose from. They're all rock solid. So I think it's the maturity of the hardware is what I think about the all the different phones that are out this year.
I beg for a Google Edition Note 3 because I think the camera's better. I think it could do 4K.
Man, how could that happen though? Because Samsung does all the
Well, they did one for the Galaxy S4.
the Note. Well,
because of the stylus, the S Pen. You're saying
it's all the Wacom.
Yeah, that's true.
Extra stuff.
I guess not. See, I think it's great hardware with crappy
it would be
software
awesome.
on top of it.
Yeah.
It would be cool.
Motorola just in general has really impressed me this year. Even though the Moto X wasn't necessarily a huge seller.
I'm not convinced of that. We've just now remember they said they were going to spend $150 million on marketing that,
And it's ramping up
just now starting.
That's
I don't
true.
know if
Agreed.
you've noticed, but you cannot get through a TV show without a Moto Maker ad, and they're compelling ads. I think that this was a long-term strategy for Motorola. I'd be surprised if we don't see a second generation Moto X in the next 6 months.
We're going to see something
that will answer a lot of the complaints. The two things wrong with the Moto X are the screen and the camera. The camera particularly disappointing. A 720p screen I can live with in that size, but the camera is just awful.
It's interesting. My wife has the Moto X, and what I notice is that the screen is so highly contrasted on the Moto X versus the Nexus 5, but to the point where when I got the Nexus 5 initially, I was like, wow, it's so washed out.
That's my feeling. I can't use an Nexus 5. It's washed out.
But no, it's interesting. It's the same panel. Who was it that told us this? It was Brian Klug of On Tech. Told us it's the same panel as the HTC One.
It's just how it's tuned.
Or no, sorry, not the HTC One. The HTC. It was the first HD screen HTC.
Which one was that?
Yes, I know. Suddenly,
No, because this is OLED, right? Moto X is OLED or IPS? It's IPS.
I believe so.
And that is IPS as well. Yeah.
DNA. There we go. Thank you, Wade.
DNA.
DNA. Same panel as DNA.
I'm not
the
crazy
difference
about it.
being
I feel it is
on the
low contrast.
DNA they crank the contrast on. Here it's just kind of
I
flatline.
don't. I don't think a mobile device needs to be true color.
Yeah.
Maybe
It
if
just
you're
needs to
doing
look good.
photography on your laptop, mobile device should be as contrasty as it needs to be to jump out at you to get your attention to be able to use it. And I do feel like the Nexus 5 is washed out. That's so funny. Maybe I'm spoiled.
No, but it's
Been
true.
looking
It's
at
just
the
what
Moto
you're
X
used
too
to.
long.
Like now,
Yeah.
after like 5 days
used
of
to
this,
it. You
I'm
don't
completely
care.
used to it. I love it. Google Now, I thought, really matured this
Before
year.
you move from Motorola, Project Aura.
Oh, right.
Love
Well,
Project
we
Aura.
haven't really seen anything.
I don't
from
care.
Project Aura,
That's the
but-
promise
This
of
is the
Project Aura.
modular-
the blocks, the phone blocks.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. I think that's so cool. And just the idea that they're having that conversation and inviting the community to be a part of it to determine what the next generation phones will be like and using this kind of technology, I think is amazing. So
I would not write off Motorola this year. I
not
think,
at all. Yeah.
Thank God the droids are dead. But I think moving forward, their partnership with Google is going to be very important.
Well, I think what we were just talking about is an example of that, right? I think it's Google coming in and saying, "Hey, look, guys, why don't you do something like this?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we could do that. We never thought about that before. Maybe not everyone wants a Razor, you know?"
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. But
Everybody wants 24-hour battery.
I was going to say, I
Yeah.
want that battery.
And
Make that happen.
if you can just please, I don't care about Ed Norton, but if you could just please give me 24 hours, I'd be very, very happy.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But on the software side of things, though,
Google
huge
Now.
leaps in that. Google Now, all the changes to the Google Play Store, you know, and all the services and all the developer-focused kind of additions that they made.
Yep.
And then finally the rollout of KitKat, which is, I mean, again, we're talking about maturity. It's like I feel like this platform is totally
big
mature
year
now.
for maturity for
Right?
Android,
Yeah.
for sure.
And the subscriber service with music, I think it's not in our list, but I use that constantly.
It's my favorite. A lot of people disagree with me. They prefer Spotify.
Oh, yeah,
Sarah
I'm on
likes
Google.
RDO.
I'm on Google.
I love All Access.
All
I
Access
Ditched everything. Yeah,
and we
so-
got in at $7.99, right? They're going to keep it that way. I mean,
As far as I know,
I hate to rub it in
I
your
paid, but I paid.
faces,
Good for a year. It was good for a year, right?
It was good for a year, I think it was. but-
$8 a month is great.
Yeah, but I paid $9.99 for that.
I would
I
take
paid for Spotify for years.
Yeah.
I'm at the point where $10, sure.
Yeah, it is great. I mean, anywhere you are, any record you want. I haven't run into a problem where I'm like, oh, the album's not there.
Right.
You know, I've got my whole library already uploaded.
Well, that's the
already.
advantage over a Spotify or RDO. If you have oddball music in your library, it's still on your Google Play Music.
Exactly.
Merged into
You just
And,
upload it.
and you haven't
Yep.
lost a thing. In fact, it's even included in the radio, which is really interesting. So-
But I continue to have little tweaks and complaints about it.
Yeah, me
and the thing is, I want to be able to swipe away. It keeps suggesting radio stations. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want that. And there's no way to say no, go away. So I've got these blocks on my Google Play, on my music page, and on the app where I'm like, I don't want this. It's taking up room. So that they just need to continue to work the UI. And
Which that's one
Google
thing. I
does.
mean, they're not mature enough. Like Pandora, their recommendations are not very good yet. I mean, if you don't know, so what I do is I go back and forth. I go to Pandora, put in my favorite artists, listen to say what they recommend. You know, oh, I like that one, and then I go back to Google Music and see if it's on there, and then add it to a playlist somewhere. So I go back and forth. I wish their recommendations were a little bit better.
Do you find radio useful? Do you find it good? I mean, the idea of that's a Pandora-like feature,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I do like it. Especially
Is it
just-
as good as Pandora?
No. It's not. The recommendations are not as good as Pandora at all.
It's very wide. It's a wide.
It's a broader
swing.
net.
It's like,
exactly.
you like.
Yeah,
you
it's-
On
know,
the other hand, Pandora seems to repeat a lot for
lazy
me. And then you
playlist.
occasionally get the Frank Sinatra record that appears for no apparent
For me,
reason.
it's Johnny Mathis. For some reason, I get Johnny Mathis.
Yeah.
And there's somewhere in my
listen to
library.
I know why you did.
And suddenly it's chances are. It does not make sense.
Yeah.
Beatles, I don't know why. Every once in a while I get a Beatles song. There's no reason.
Because there's no reason for you not to get Beatles.
that's
you know.
right. That must be what it is.
I get this thing Yellow Gold. What is that? I don't know.
Yeah, I had to pay for that.
Whose
So.
feet are these?
No, it was a big year for
And,
Android.
and Google
KitKat.
Now. I mean,
Yep.
Google Now is it now? It's integrated with KitKat. It's a big part
Getting
of our
better
life.
and
It's
better.
getting-
I want it to get better faster. They've been slowly adding stuff. It's great. I'm not knocking it. It just feels like, you know what it feels like to me is they don't want to creep people out. And I'm saying cross the creepy line.
Yep.
Go
Go
for
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
Do it.
Those of us who love
Commit.
it have already said you own us, Google. Now go for it. You tell me what kind of pants to get. I want to know. Tell me everything you think, Google.
It's starting to get subtly. It's not passive aggressive, but it's suggestive. Like I've noticed, I'm trying to keep an eye on when it tells me to go home when I'm at work. When it hits, right, and I'm like, right, no, yeah, and it's like, and like it was like
time to go
5:30,
home.
and then I noticed it's starting to creep up. I guess it's picking up on the fact that I don't
funny.
leave till later,
Right.
and so then it gave me the alert at like 7, and I was at work. I'm like, okay, that's more right. Then the next day it was like 6:30, and so like I'm trying to figure out the algorithm as to when it tells me about the traffic home.
Yeah.
Even though I don't drive, but still, it's
And luckily, I mean, you can dismiss this stuff. I mean, they give you a little option to say, I don't want to see this anymore. And that's great too, because there's a lot of stuff in there that I don't care about that probably a lot of other people do. So just having that option so it's not in your face all the time, I think is really important. I'm
They
glad
rely
put
a
that
little
in there.
too much on search. We know Google
Yeah.
knows more about us than search. Search is one signal, but I always get, I search for anything. I'm going to get a lot of cards around that search.
Right.
I'm telling you, Google, I know you know more about me than that.
So
You can
give it to me.
Give it to me.
Yep, I'm with you.
Cross that creepy line, baby.
And we're all big Google users, right? So calendar, email,
given
all
them
this
everything.
stuff.
And
But
if
what
it
about the people
enriches
that
our
aren't?
life? If
I
it
always
enriches our
wonder-
lives, then why not?
I always wonder if you don't use Gmail, you're not using calendar,
no
all you
good.
use is search. Like, what are you going to get out of? Is it going to be worth it? I don't know enough people that aren't into Google, but
plan, isn't it?
yeah.
All those
Only
Hotmail
works if
users.
you use everything.
All those Hotmail users are missing out.
Yeah,
on
right, right.
Fun.
Yeah.
I
Why doesn't
wanna
this
be
work for me?
Scroogle me now.
What about flops?
Well, the Samsung Galaxy S4 launch.
You mean the event.
The event.
The media
event.
The media event.
Right.
Sorry,
That was
Samsung.
unbelievable. I still can't believe that happened. Like,
Who was here? I was here for that, and you were here later.
we were
I was
doing
at
that
home.
live.
I was on
You were
Skype.
here.
Yeah.
So Ron was here too.
Yeah.
We were all just like dumbfounded. We didn't know what to say.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the sexism and there's the bizarro-ness of it, and
Broadway, salute to technology. Hey,
right. It was very like weird carousel of progress attempt it was just very.
I think Samsung jumped the shark this year. I really think that
I
they're
would agree.
They were on a
coasting,
good
they're on
trajectory.
momentum, and it's going to hurt them. And you're going to see that next year and the year to come. This is it for them.
Yeah.
And that might have been the moment because leading up to that, they were hot. It was like
right.
we were rumors about the phones. We were doing all that stuff, and then that event happened, and then we find out what it was like 9 gig of bloatware when you get it, and
Unbelievable.
yeah. So I don't know. I'm very anti. I mean, I know everyone loves the Note and stuff like that. And I haven't actually played with the Note as much, but just generally, like when people ask me for recommendations, I don't steer them towards Samsung. I steer them, to the Nexus experience.
Here's some video.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, jeez.
My nails are still wet. Hey, girls.
The pool guy.
Found a waiter! We're trying to find the perfect song for your wedding. And we
Of course, because that's what all girls do.
I thought that it might be that it was Broadway, that it was.
Yeah,
that's
theatrical.
exactly
It was a
what it was.
little
And
over. Yeah.
So I asked a few people who were in the room, "Hey, did that really feel more normal?" They said no.
No, but it's Samsung's weird when they do these presentations because it's almost like they're making a presentation for for the person that's sitting down to watch a show on TV in the evening more than they are for the tech writers that are actually there reporting on the product that they're announcing. It's like those people aren't watching
accurate,
this.
and I think tech writers, people like us, are looking at Samsung saying TouchWiz is crap.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's really appealing to the average Joe.
Exactly.
Everybody now has Samsung phones. Everybody does.
Yeah, that's who they're going after. So, I mean, I think that's their strategy, right? Let's do it more for the consumer. So, in a sense, it's good, but
is the
they
consumer really
failed,
seeing that?
You know, I think they are. I mean, I think showing the ads.
The presentation.
The presentation. I mean, showing the ads during
see
the
the ad,
football
but-
games and things like that. I mean, I think that's really working for them. But I think you're right. I mean, it's not now. Right now, they're in the top of their game still, even though we're like kind of down on them. But I think with consumers over the next couple of years, there's room for somebody else to come up and certainly take that
Consumers
mantle
are
away
gonna
from
wise up.
Samsung. Consumers are
Ultimately,
absolutely
they're
going
gonna
to
say these really are junky products. We're not happy. I have to say that Howie Long ad where he's being shown by the attractive young woman how to take a selfie. And the guy comes across as a moron. What's a selfie? Like, okay, everybody knows what a selfie. It's the freaking word of the year.
Right.
You don't know what a selfie is, and then she shows him, oh, you can do it with your Galaxy Gear watch if you twist the watch around like that. And I thought, this is not compelling. These people are morons. That must work, but in the long run, I think.
Did you see the ad? It wasn't here in North America. It was overseas somewhere. It was the skiing one. You guys haven't seen that?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll have to find it. It was hilarious. It was the worst ad ever. It was these 3 guys on a chairlift, and the one guy has the watch, the Galaxy or the Samsung watch, and he's like impressing the girl because of all the things he can do with his watch. It was hilarious.
Oh no, I did see it.
Did
And
you see
then
that?
is that the one where there's like a sad ending? The girl left him, or
Something, yeah.
he's showing pictures,
Right,
and
they
then
go to
his
a club
His
and-
friend's girlfriend is on the phone. Maybe I'm mistaken.
I'll find it. I'll find
I
it.
think that happened to me in real life.
So-
Oh, here
Here
it
we
is.
go.
Here it is, right here. Yeah.
That must be why it supposedly only sold around $50,000.
I mean, cute girl, but this would never, ever,
50,000
ever happen in real
units.
Is
life.
that all really for the Gear?
Supposedly, that was reported in
so
November.
are we saying it's a failure?
I would consider the Gear a flop. I think Samsung expected the whole wearable thing to extend into the Gear and to be for them to be the breakout kind of wearable technology. I don't think it was that. It came out of the gate very limited as far as the devices that it would work with.
Here's the most
in a very
unrealistic
Samsung
part.
way. Like, well, if you're in the Samsung world, then you're going to love the fact that
Right,
it only
right,
works
right.
with Samsung devices because
Oh,
you're
yeah,
committed
the
to
chicks
our
dig that.
product.
So they're in a loud club. He drops his phone, but he can find it. There's no way you can find a phone in a loud club. There's just no way. It's
There's
not
no
gonna
way
happen.
she's impressed
And
by
she's
that.
super impressed. She's like, "Hey, let's go."
This is so
Look at that.
weird.
Can
Hey,
you
look
help
at
me
this
find
wine.
my phone too?
This wine's great.
I don't know. Galaxy Gear, not sold.
This is
on that.
also like a half an hour long.
It is.
This
It's a
like-
super long commercial.
Facebook Home.
What? That was
that's-
this year?
That was this year.
That was
That
this
was
year.
this
Oh
year.
my God.
yeah, that was
Talk
this
about
year
a
and
quick
buried.
fade.
Yeah.
Everybody was super excited about it.
Cow.
Flame out.
How big of news was that?
I thought
when it
that was like
happened and
5
then
years ago.
completely forgotten? No, that was this year.
That was going to change everything, right? It was. Yeah.
I mean, it did put a focus on launcher in a wide kind of.
It made regular people recognize that you can change the launcher. I think that's
I think it gave Google a little bit of scary feelings too, because they came out with their new launcher for KitKat. I wonder if that would have happened if it was not for Facebook Home.
Well, I remember at Google I/O coming up to Bradley, not Fitzpatrick, the other guy, Bradley.
Horowitz?
Horowitz.
Yeah, Horowitz.
Yeah.
And saying, Facebook Home, interesting idea. When's Google? Because I said, I don't like it, but if you did a Google Now Home, and he said, just wait and see. Oh, I'm sorry. My phone said, okay, Google Now. He said, that's one negative of the touch
Okay,
list.
Google.
I'm listening.
I said, what about a Google Now phone? And he winked at me. He said, stay tuned. And I think that, of course, that was KitKat.
Yeah.
It's subtle, though. Sliding left to see the Now cards. I turned that off. I always use a launcher.
It's subtle, but if Google comes out with the ability to, well, they will. They have to in 2014. I have to expect that they will launch put the launcher into the Play Store. Like, yes, it's subtle, but it's a way for everyone to get the vanilla experience, more or less, at least in the launcher level. And that's something that people want. People seem to be asking for it. I put Ouya in the flops category, just because I feel like there was a lot of potential and a lot of hype.
I'd have a hard time
I bought
arguing
one.
that. I'd have a hard time.
I would have a
arguing.
hard time. I bought one. I used it for a week, and then I sold it on Craigslist.
What we learned is $90 hardware is $90 hardware.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. It's not
It's
going
an
to be a
interesting
PlayStation
device,
3.
and it was kind of fun to use, but
Well, it's also, I think, the combination of $90 hardware plus a release that people want. Like we said it when we talked about Ouya. You needed the next Assassin's Creed game or whatever to come out only on Ouya for a certain time period, and that hasn't happened yet. There hasn't been I played this amazing game and it's on Ouya. You got to check it out. Like I've never had that conversation. Yeah.
Certainly didn't.
I still love the
replace
concept, though.
I do
love
too.
the
I
idea.
do too.
It's- yeah.
I wanted it to be Google TV plus lots of games.
Yep.
Google TV plus Wii.
Yep.
But wasn't quite that.
That was the flop of the year. Google TV died this year, didn't it?
Well, I don't know.
You certainly haven't heard a lot about Google TV, and you have
I
about
think they're going to
Chromecast.
replace it
Chromecast.
with
I think so,
Chrome,
too.
some sort of Chrome OS.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got my Google TV Blu-ray player sitting at home.
Or the Nexus TV with Chromecast.
I have the Logitech Review.
You still,
just sitting there gathering dust.
I use mine every day, but
Do you?
I wish there was more.
I still love it. I still love it.
I still love it,
the
too.
The Sony Blu-ray player with the integrated Google TV to me has been a fantastic device.
Yep.
You know, the apps that I haven't needed. I can watch stuff via the browser. I watch my House Hunters on HGTV's website streaming. Google Play Store's gotten better. There's more stuff in there. It's been great for me, but it stopped.
Yeah.
Like, you notice it stopped.
Yeah, there's not much
It
new
left
coming out.
It left a legacy, though, because Microsoft's Xbox One adopted the same playthrough technology of the Google TV, which is the thing I most liked about Google TV is that you didn't have to take up another HDMI port there in short supply, but you could connect it to your cable box and your TV, and then it overlaid your cable box. That's what the Xbox One does.
Yeah.
In fact, it really does it better than Google TV did it, unfortunately.
Imagine
On the
so.
shoulder of giants.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now, what about things that we want out of Android in 2014? I know one of the things that I would love to see more of is the always listening from Moto X.
It's great.
That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
I realize there's a hardware component kind of built into that, right?
That's right.
So that changed the way you use the phone? I mean,
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, there's a Motorola Assist, so it knows when you're driving, and it knows, for instance, I'm in a meeting right now, so the phone won't ring unless it's somebody from. I can set it to say somebody from my favorites list. It will send a text message. By the way, they changed it finally. It used to say sent from my Moto X phone. Now it says Leo's in a meeting, he can't respond, and I've changed it to say, so I'll call you later instead of sent from my Moto X phone. That was a little confusing, by the way.
Yeah.
That's kind of combined with always listening, but the idea that it's more situationally aware is great. I can't remember what you call it, but where it wakes up and it shows you what time it is when you take it out of your pocket, things like that are really great.
The active
these
display.
little active display, these little things make a big
subtle
difference.
touches, right?
Convenience.
Yeah.
It's convenience.
I think you're absolutely right. I think I want to see it on my desktop too, and of course we do with a Google plugin now. The ability to talk to your computer, or to talk to your phone, have it respond and do what you want it to do is great. It's interesting because one of the problems they face is if you lock your phone, you can't have full functionality, or you don't want to, because people might start talking to your phone without your permission. But they've added to the capabilities. even without unlocking. You can now set a reminder without unlocking, things like that. I think they recognize that people want complete hands-free interaction.
Yeah. I mean, it's really the one step closer to the Star Trek universe that we all want. Right. Yeah. You just say,
really
do this.
great.
And,
But the only thing is I have to remember to use it. You forget sometimes that you have this capability.
Right.
And,
My wife actually lost her phone in the house and did the...
okay, Google now, find my phone.
Yeah.
And it's not super loud, but it will make a very loud, piercing sound.
if you're listening for it. Right?
If you're listening for it. It didn't work for me.
It's a
It's
dog
still translated,
phone.
by the way.
Yeah.
That's
love-
another
she did it in a
problem. It
word.
doesn't know when to stop listening.
I love Android Device Manager. We've used it over and over again to find my wife's
okay.
phone and my son's phone, and whenever they lose it, I mean, you just go in, turn it on. They all have my account on their phone. I make sure that my account's logged in on their phones, and so I can go to any of their devices, go to Android Device Manager, find the phone, or make it ring, and they can find it, whether it's lost in a seat cushion or whatever. It's really
that's awesome.
really good stuff. So.
What
else is cool?
2014. I want, from a very selfish perspective, I want low latency audio I/O. This is something that iPad and iOS has. You see so many audio and music applications, and there are audio and music applications on Android, but the difference is that with iOS, they have this low latency I/O. So when you plug in a peripheral into it, and you hit the keys and everything, it's going to trigger that sound almost immediately in the device. And so that opens up this whole sea of really creative uses for iPad. And that's why you see, DJs with iOS and iPads and all that kind of stuff. You don't have that in Android because the latency is too wide. So I wish for it every year, and it never happens. I know there's something going on there, but I want to see that.
They're going to get there closer. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of audio, I hope they finally integrate voice with Hangouts, right? So that it's all one unified.
Well, I mean, that's the collapsing of Google Voice into Hangouts.
I have to say, I'm a little disappointed that Hangouts and SMS. I actually turned that back off and went back to SMS. It's too heavyweight.
Me too.
And so let's not overload Hangouts with too much capability. But it would be nice to make voice calls.
Well, if it came like Hangouts does, where you can turn those services off, right? And you figured out how to do that.
It makes sense. It makes sense to collapse Google Voice into it and make Hangouts be the messaging platform.
Absolutely.
But then make it easier for you to adjust it to fit your needs, But I don't know. I want that watch. So I want the Google Watch.
The Google Watch, the Google version.
For some reason, I'm hung up on the watches, and I haven't reached Watch Mecca yet. And I really believe that Google will do it. So if they,
definitely
a Nexus
not
watch.
reached Watch Mecca.
No.
It's funny how I'm having a hard time thinking of something that I want or need from Android. I feel like it's pretty darn good.
This is a great catch up. This was a great year for really solidifying.
Yeah, it's really nice. And it was the year that I realized I could use a Google Edition or a Moto X and not have to use the Samsung crap. I loved my HTC One, but eventually I just got tired of all the weird non-standard stuff it was doing.
I think the Google Home question, whether or not they're going to get into home automation, I think that'll be interesting to see if we finally see that.
Love to see that.
Yeah.
I would too.
There's a real opportunity there.
Yep.
Especially because there's competing standards. There's no winner right now, and Google has the market clout to do something.
You need a behemoth to come in and say, no, this is how you do it. And then you integrate it with the phone, you integrate it with all the other devices.
Integrate with your watch, integrate with Google Glass.
They're well positioned to do that. I mean, this was the year we really started to see the synergies of all the things Google's been doing for the last 10 years. Just all the threads starting to come together. That's the other thing I mentioned to Bradley is that you kind of see the outline now of the overall overarching plan, and that absolutely includes home automation.
And it'll really all hang on. I know we talked about this before. It'll really all hang on if they can get along with and partner with some really good third-party equipment manufacturers, right? Because they're not going to go out and make a thermostat, right? So they need to pick 2 or 3 equipment manufacturers and say, look, we want you to go out and build this awesome thermostat or this awesome security device or this awesome sprinkler timers, whatever it is. And they need to figure out how to do that. They need to bring somebody on board that can go out and partner with these companies.
They got to buy
Maybe
Nest.
Motorola becomes their hardware arm.
Maybe
They got to buy
should
Nest.
just buy them.
Buy Nest.
Yeah.
Just
I got my sister, my brother-in-law the Nest smoke alarm for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a
buy
beautiful
'em.
device. Yeah. They've had a thermostat for the past year. It's fantastic. It's
Buy Nest, buy Hue, buy Sonos. Just buy up all the stuff you need and put it all together.
And then
just go buy Honeywell. They're a small company, right?
Yeah. Actually, it'd probably be cheaper
They
than
probably
Nest.
could. They probably could.
So we have a segment in here, and I realize, Leo, I don't have your picks in here, but maybe you'll have some off the top of your head. But we just kind of went through and picked a few of our apps that we thought were really great from 2013. I'm going to have the full list of these apps in the show notes, twit.tv/AAA. The full list is going to be there with the Play Store links, so you can take a look and install as you would like to. But we don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, so I'll just rattle them off. We talked about them all on the show.
Your first one stole mine. I was all excited to go in.
I knew I was probably
stole it.
Pocket is awesome. Literally use Pocket every single day, especially for this show.
That's the winner.
Yeah.
Instapaper, Pocket, read it later. All of it, it's the winner. That's the clear winner.
That's awesome. Yep. Pocket's fantastic. Bacon Reader for Reddit, just because this year, 2013, was the year that I really got into Reddit, apparently. And Bacon Reader is just really well designed. Great way to
seems to be the top one.
Yeah. Reddit News is really good too, though.
No, that's the thing. There are so many Reddit apps on Android.
Those two are the top. I seriously, I've tried them both out. I'm big Reddit. I live on Reddit, and those two are seriously the top. And it just really depends on the interface style that you want to go with.
No, exactly.
So
they all appeal in different ways. Push Bullet, fantastic way of kind of syncing. And this was Gina's app, and she won in the arena with it, of syncing information from your device to your Chrome browser. It's got full Chrome sync, notification sync. So when I'm on my Chrome browser on my desktop, I see all my notifications as they appear here. And it's just incredibly useful.
It's an amazing application.
I use it all the time. Yeah. TWiT Pro, I think, is worth pointing out, because as far as like a solid Android app that streams all of our content here, this is absolutely my favorite. Excellent integration of the chat room over the top, and just really solidly designed. All I'm waiting for is a Chromecast button. Give it to me.
There you go.
Give it to me, and I'm sure it's in the works, and someday it'll happen.
It's up to Google.
Is that a third party?
Yeah,
Did you guys
TWiT
have
Pro
anything
is
to do
third
with
party.
this?
Craig Laney's ShiftKey Software also has a TWiT app for Android. I agree with you. TWiT Pro is the best of the two. Sorry, Craig, because we love you, and I'm sure he's in the chat room. But Craig's told us that it's just Google's got to approve it. The code's there. All of our apps are third party. We don't have the manpower to do our own apps. So we rely on the kindness of strangers, and they do
a good job.
Good.
Yeah.
They do a fantastic job. And finally, this is not going to be on anyone's list, but I thought it was hilarious this year, was Face Switch.
Yeah.
Come on, if you saw the best stuff, you know why this is
application
awesome.
I've ever seen. I had to turn off the best of
I've
episode.
had so much fun with this app.
It's definitely
you take
newsworthy.
two people you know, squash their faces together, and it's just literally it's hours of fun.
Oh, it was disturbing. So disturbing.
We kept Google apps kind of exempt from the top 5, but it's good to mention one that we thought was pretty awesome, and I was just really impressed this year with Play Music. Use it. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, jeez.
There's one. That would send chills down my spine.
For weeks.
Yeah. That's Gina and me, and it wasn't even well done, but it still looked great.
I was wondering I couldn't figure out at first whose faces those were. It was like, well, the person looks vaguely familiar.
Yeah. Kind of looked like we were like a meth head or something.
Yeah.
There was something weird going on there.
This is why.
Play Music, though, was my pick. I love the changes that they've made. Obviously, integrating all access into there, which is more on the surface level than it is the actual app. But I use that app, again, almost every day, and really like what they've done with it. So,
I put vote in for Wallet, another Google app.
That's mine.
It really happened this year, didn't it?
Finally. That was so. My Google app that I chose was Wallet, because now I'm using it on the regular. I go to Walgreens, I hit it. I go to 7-Eleven, it works. They integrated the ability to sign up for loyalty program cards, so now I got my Walgreens member reward thing in there, and it's using QR codes. You're able to send money to people like PayPal. I mean, it has truly become a viable money app. It's great.
Did you see what Jamba Juice is doing, by the way?
No.
So Jamba Juice, if you go in there, they've got Iris. Iris is the competitive app from the carrier. So like AT&T, I think, and T-Mobile and Verizon, I think, are all in on this. It's called Iris. But if you go there, you can pick up a pamphlet and sign up for Iris and use the Iris app, and you get a free small Jamba Juice every time you buy something at Jamba Juice. They're really pushing Iris.
Interesting.
So it's like finally they were all up in arms about Wallet. As you remember, Verizon wouldn't let them have. Anyway, we don't need to go into all that. But I mean, it's really interesting to see the carriers now pushing Iris really really heavily. So there's something there for sure.
Cool. So my other apps of the year that I can't live without, the latest and I couldn't remember if it was this year or last year, but I think it was this year. But Pocket Casts,
The redesigned
Pocket Casts,
awesome.
Talk about such a, I mean, the podcast app that we always wanted on Android. It's close to perfect. I mean, and I cannot live without it.
Yeah.
If you look at my battery usage, it's pretty much Pocket Cast up top because I download everything over the network. And but it's great. I thought the Circa app, late year release, really solid news application. Circa's been around for a couple of years. They've been developing their kind of curated news approach and finally came out with the Android application, and it really was worth the wait.
Yeah.
After my SMS anti-Hangouts kind of war.
Totally with you on that, man.
Where did you net out? What app are you using now?
I'm just using the standard messaging app.
I settled on Textra.
Really,
Textra is
every
great.
time I try all of these other ones, they're just the bells and whistles that make me kind of nutty.
And
I'll give Textra another try.
Textra balances the bells and whistles with efficiency, and now I'm able to. What I love is the little pop-up window to respond to somebody,
like inline reply.
Yeah, exactly, and just the ability to adjust it to how I want it to be. If I don't want to use that, I can turn it off. And so you can change the LED color and the notification icon, all that sort of stuff. So Textra really was the powerful SMS client I wanted. For mail management, Molto finally, for a tablet app, became the mail client that I was looking for. Not a big fan of the Gmail app, and I have a POP3 account. I know I'm old, but and Molto brings the Google kind of cards, kind of Google Now kind of experience to my own personal email, as well as integrating social very nicely. And finally, this one is selfish, but it's one I discovered this year. It's called BART Runner, and it basically just tells me when the BART train's coming.
BART Runner. Yeah.
As I work in Berkeley, and I mean, it is just, it's one of those apps that does one thing really well.
Exactly.
And so shout out to the guy who does BART Runner, because it's just a great app.
And he keeps developing it too.
Yeah.
I mean, when the first time I used it, it was like pretty rickety, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So I'm glad to hear that you're still using it. I finally just go to the BART website now.
Cannot live without it.
Yeah,
Cannot
BART Runner.
live
If you're a
without
frequent BART traveler in the Bay Area, definitely really cool.
Yep.
So
I just installed Textra. I'm gonna
Cool.
give it a
Let me know
try.
what you think.
Yeah.
Excellent. What you got, Aaron?
So I kind of divided up. I saw what you guys picked, and I divided up my choices into two categories. So games and social, because I think this is a big year for games and social.
It was a huge year for games on Android.
And
I feel
games
like
on Android is
really
is just. I mean, it seems like this is the next big platform, right?
Yeah.
It's not the Wii, it's not the Xbox One, or whatever it is. It's seriously Android and mobile platforms for sure. So one of the things that that you saw was sequels that have come out, and not just sequels that are actually really good, like Temple Run 2. That was the top of my list. That came out, and immediately I was hooked. It took everything that was good about Temple Run and blew it up, right, and in a good way. And so Temple Run 2 was great. Then Plants vs. Zombies 2 came out. Also a really great follow-on, better than the original in my opinion. And then Angry Birds Star Wars. Angry Birds Star Wars actually came out last year. Angry Birds Star Wars 2 came out this year. Again, a really good sequel. The thing that's cool about all these is they're all free too. These are all free games. They're sequels that rock. So usually you get at least for me, I have low expectation of sequels. I don't think they're going to be good, but I really think this year gaming came to Android in a big way, and there's so many cool games out there. The other one is social. So my number 4 pick was Snapchat. Which Snapchat, you could argue it wasn't really this year because it has a long history and stuff. But my son, for example, uses Snapchat more than Instagram now. He used to really love Instagram and put his stuff on Instagram, and now him and all his friends are using Snapchat. Not too sure I'm happy about that, but because he is 14, and but still, I mean, they're using it for other things.
They're not. It's my kids use it too. and
Everybody
just
uses it. I mean, we're all worried
benignly.
about what
It's
they're
not.
doing with it, but
It's benign.
but they're using it. They really like that app. And then Vine, of course, as well, came
Super
out
creative.
super good for very minimalistic video of quick things. Very much the Twitter, the video of Twitter, or the Twitter of video, however you want to look at it. So Vine came out as well. So I think social is really blossoming on the Android platform as well. And then my Google pick is, of course, Google Plus. I had to grab that one right away when we're talking about them. Google Plus just keeps on iterating feature after feature. I mean, last time we were on, we did the snow thing, right, with the photos. I got an Auto Awesome video back to me from that they did the 2013. Did you guys get those?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
here's
It
your
was awesome.
2013
Isn't that great?
Auto Awesome.
It was
like
awesome,
so cool.
minus the one screenshot from my phone that
Yeah, I had something odd in there as well.
I mean,
But
they're
everything
Everything else is
still
fantastic.
pretty good.
It's
It was
an
really
algorithm. It was pretty good, though. Yeah,
they did a really good job.
My cover photo was me and Eben from the Raspberry Pi, the guy who started the Raspberry Pi thing. And I think they thought it was like a family photo or something, right? So they put it on there. I'm like, this totally does not apply, but that's okay. It was still cool.
It was still a moment.
Yeah,
It happened.
definitely. It was a
yeah.
moment. It
You
was a
want to
moment.
remember fondly.
So yeah, for me, Google Plus. I mean, this year has
Google
just
Plus.
gone
Yeah, this has
crazy.
been great. I
So
agree.
kudos.
Any you want to throw in there, Leo?
Oh, of course, I have some great apps. I use my AnyDo to-do list, which
Yep,
I think is
yep.
excellent. This year they came out with a calendar app, which I've replaced the stock calendar app with. I think it's beautiful.
Nice.
It's
Awesome.
easy to
I
use.
use that too.
Very powerful. A nice job. For Twitter, I've been using something called Carbon. It's the prettiest Twitter client.
And that just had a pretty big update, right?
Yeah, they still say they're not tablet compliant, but I find it fine on a tablet, so I'm not sure what it is that they're missing. I think they've done a good job. It's really pretty, fast, easy to use. It doesn't make Twitter any more interesting, but at least if you're going to use Twitter, it's a good one to use. And I got to say LastPass, I know that's been around for a long time, but if you're not using LastPass to keep track of your
Love it.
passwords and
Yep.
generate them, there just really is no better way to do it. The Chrome extension, if you use it on the desktop, makes it very easy. It's just superb. And to go along with that, the Google pick would be, of course, Authenticator. And I presume that all of you have second-factor authentication turned on your
Yes.
your Google accounts. If you don't do it, an Authenticator makes it very easy. I just wish more people would use it. I think, is that Paraguay calling? Or Buenos
Yes,
Aires?
I believe we have. Yes, it's Paraguay. Buenos Aires is Buenos Aires. Georgetown. It'll be Rodrigo Jimenez.
Nice.
Hola, Rodrigo.
Maybe.
There we go.
Hola, Rodrigo. There they are. Happy New Year, everybody.
Hey!
It looks like a radio station in Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires.
What a great city. Buenos Aires is the best place in the world for Italian food and steak. And my favorite, provoleta, which is the baked provolone. It's so good. A great food town. Hello, and
Yeah,
tango. Who could forget tango?
Probably the best thing here is the food.
Yeah, love
nice.
the food.
And the people. The people.
It is.
Okay.
All right.
You said it.
Are you guys in a radio station, a studio? What is the story here, Rodrigo?
Well, the thing is that we also do a podcast here, and we've been doing it for almost 5 years now. 5 años, no? Sí. 5 years that we're doing the podcast, and we started in audio only at first, but for 2 years, I think, we are doing in video format too. So we have this whole setup with a bunch of cameras and microphones and light.
That's great.
So,
It looks
yeah.
great.
Yeah, it looks
Do you
great.
do music? What is this? What is the topic?
He's the musician, actually. He's got a lot of guitars, and we have some drums over there. You can't see it because it's behind cameras. But yeah, this started as a music studio. Actually, he likes to record stuff.
What's the name of your podcast? Where can we find it?
It's El Metatron podcast. How should we?
That's all right. I think anybody who speaks Spanish will understand that and know where to
just
find it.
El
Yeah.
Metatron podcast. I've got it.
Yes,
elmetatron.com.
And so we're going to ask you to help us out because you are representing the next timeline to go into 2014 in about 45 seconds. Buenos Aires is going to, along with Paraguay and other regions of South America, and I guess some of North America too, maybe, I don't know, are going to enter 2014. There it is. There's the podcast. So you guys should count down with us in Spanish, and if you want to play a little countdown music, hey, that's okay too. I guess you're doing a countdown too, are you?
Música de countdown, te quiero ver. Oh, whoa.
Give me some
like,
champagne.
"Yeah,
I'll blow
put me
up
on the
some
spot."
champagne.
Some champagne.
All right, we got it, everybody. We have the champagne. Here we go. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Feliz Año Nuevo! Whoa! I think that one stuck. I don't think it ever came down.
Yeah, it took a while.
Happy New Year, Rodrigo! Happy New Year, El Metatron! And congratulations,
music, too. Awesome.
you are now in the year 2014.
How's it feel?
How does it
And
feel?
your eyes feel fine, right? Because
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
You've opened quite a lot of those bottles.
We haven't drunk a single one, but we've got like
They're all open.
And stay tuned because we're going to have our own New Year's celebration in about 5 hours, and I've been promised 10 bottles. I'm going to open them. I'm going to open them all in order, and we're going to have a 10-gun salute,
Nice.
10 champagne cork
Excellent.
salute to the new year.
Be careful with the ice.
Oh, I won't stand over
You're
it.
right.
I'm not insane. Hey, happy New Year to you. It's great to talk to fellow podcasters in Buenos Aires.
Thank you, thank you.
That's great. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Happy New Year, you guys.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Feliz Año Nuevo.
Feliz Año Nuevo. They see the way the Argentinians. It's like fast. It's like
Yeah, fast.
boom,
Feliz
boom, boom.
Nuevo.
It's Buenos Aires is a beautiful city.
I want to get there sometime. I've been to Brazil. I haven't been to Argentina yet.
Yeah, me
You know,
too.
and I haven't
Me
been to
too.
Brazil, so we should
Brazil
trade.
is amazing.
Yeah,
Brazil's awesome.
I was
Rio.
hoping to go for the World Cup this year.
Porto
Yeah,
Alegre.
I thought
That would
about
be
it,
a
but
lot
yeah,
of
yes,
fun.
yeah,
That would
yeah.
That'd be
fun.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got stranded at a soccer game when I was down there.
I went to a soccer game that was like, it was a local team. It wasn't a national team.
Right,
it was
right.
just the local teams.
Yeah.
And it was an exhibition game, but it was like the Yankees and the Red Sox playing.
Exactly.
The game meant nothing. It was just an exhibition game. And the guy sitting next to me, his team lost, and he was there bawling his eyes out.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it doesn't mean anything. Just be happy.
But
you know?
still, awesome. Yes.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was
They,
great.
something
they
even when it
care
doesn't.
deeply.
Yeah,
You
love it.
Feel
Love
it
it.
deeply.
Speaking of caring deeply, I think it's
segue.
worth
Great segue.
noting a very notable mention from this year. This was the year,
The best app.
possibly the best app on Android.
Well, of course.
Was created by Matthew Holtzum. He is now a celebrity on our show because he created the game that everybody knows called All About Android, the game.
The best app of the year.
And it's a fantastic game. If you haven't played it, it's an endless scroller. It has lots of great power-ups like Google Glass, patent lawyer.
You're the first TWiT show to have its own game.
Yeah, I mean,
We're
we've all got our own
honored. We're
character.
immensely
It's-
honored,
It's
yeah.
honestly, it's just the greatest experience in the world to have a video game created around your show. But Matthew Holtzum did a great job, and it's really hard.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, it syncs up to
There's Gina.
your Google Plus account, and so you can compare your scores against everybody else. And I mean, the fans
Did
in
he
the
do it
all
with
that
a
Android
game generator?
community-
It must have been, huh?
What's that?
With a game generator?
No,
of some
he's
kind,
so he's
Unity
a
or
full-on
something?
developer.
Wow.
This
This
is
is a
his
project,
first.
wasn't this?
This was a project. He wanted to figure out how to develop a video
at
game.
that. That's
for
awesome.
Android. He's
That
done
is
iOS
fabulous.
stuff. Now he's on Android, and
You're just waiting for the update with the guest
NFC.
host.
yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff. So there you go.
Very nice.
Have to mention that.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
And
amazing.
real quick here before we get into the arena, because I know we're running long at this point. Definitely check out
My
the show
fault.
notes.
I make everything longer.
Good
I don't
discussion.
know why.
It's all right. It's very good discussion.
The
Absolutely.
Viagra podcast.
Twit.tv/AAA is where you can find the show notes, and you'll find a link to a Google Plus post that I did last night where I asked you guys to tell us your favorite apps from the year and include a link to the Play Store. So hopefully it's really easy for you to just scan through there, find some awesome apps. Timely Alarm Clock is one that I almost made my list. It's just a really well-designed alarm clock
Love
app.
Timely.
That came
I
out
had to
this
get
year-
up this
year.
morning 3 a.m., right? To
Oh,
be
yeah.
here.
For what?
Timely. I don't know. Some reason
This
somebody was
thing.
wanting me in here.
Why would you do that?
Timely goes off, not I set it on my Moto X, but it goes off on my Nexus 7. It goes off
Yeah.
on my Nexus 5. It goes off on my Note 3. What a great app. That is an app you will never miss another alarm again. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really well designed. Dash Clock. You heard a lot about Dash Clock this
yeah,
year.
Dash Clock was a big one.
Just a lot of really great stuff in there as well. So if you're hurting for apps, apparently today's show notes is a great place to go to stock up your phone. What do you think? Should we
Let's
do
do
it?
it. Last one of the year.
All right.
Arena.
Android Arena.
So many enter, but only one lives.
I didn't.
Android Arena.
So scared.
That new bumper might be one of my favorite things in 2013 as well.
That was
I mean,
pretty
that
fantastic.
bumper it's fantastic.
Okay, I didn't expect this, but apparently, did you?
Wow.
Yes, I told you I was
Yeah.
going 3 for 3.
Scotchy
Wow.
Scotch Toss won last week with 29% of the vote. I mean, it was pretty much even across the board. Scotchy Scotch Toss wins first with 29%. Cover, that was my app, 28% was second place. Belt.io, that was yours, Ron. Third
close,
place at
actually.
23%. And
There's a
Nightmare
Belt
Tower
app?
at 20%.
Yeah, I just want to point out I called this. I said I was going 3 for 3.
Yeah, and you
Look
know,
at you,
right
man.
out of the
3 for
gate,
3.
Good
it was
job.
not
Good
performing.
job.
I know. I was a little.
No, it's a
I was
long
little
game. It's a
afraid.
long game.
It
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
everything
play for it.
changes
Yeah.
throughout the course of the week.
And this is a
That's
2
awesome.
weeks time period, right?
That's the Anchorman game.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, all
Yes.
right.
All right, so
That's the only
everybody
reason I
has
won.
their mustaches firmly in place.
I'm ready.
Or at least Leo does. I wish I had a mustache. I'd throw one on my face. Ron, you lost. You go first.
All right. So with 2013, we saw the demise of Google Reader, and everybody kind of, at least early on, a tempest in a teapot, very concerned about what they're going to do for their news aggregation. We saw Feedly kind of emerge as a leading one. Circa, which I mentioned earlier, is a good option. Just came across this app recently called News Plus. Which is where this team has kind of stepped up and have built an RSS reader to aggregate, beginning with Google News, but also with hooks to aggregate in other news sources as well. Really nicely designed and well done application, utilizing all the Google Holo kind of design attributes. Tablet and phone friendly. Incredible! Wow, that is
What?
What?
But
Feels normal.
But yeah, so it's a free app to start, and it's got all the hooks into Google News already. So once you open up the app, there's a whole bunch of different news sections that you can choose from, whether top stories or news of the world or U.S. or business or technology or sports. And here I've got it up here. And what you've got on the left side, you've got all the different categories, and then the right side you got the stories. If you flip it, it rolls with it. If you open up a story, the list of stories moves to the left, and then you can read either both the feed version or the website version if you want to see the full graphics and that sort of thing. I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi right now, so I can't get it. But all the hooks that you want for sharing and for being able to email a story, or as you scroll, it will mark stories as read. And then also, if you want to expand it from Google News, all you need to do is add some extensions, and with the premium version of the app, you can plug in News Blur or Pocket Plus or the Google Reader API clone, all these different RSS kind of sources. You can pull in your preferred news sources into this application to read them. So really, really powerful, really extensible. It's a classy news reader that lets you kind of customize it to how you want to read your news.
Cool.
So News Plus.
So Google News is free though.
Google News
They
is
pull
free.
that
Yep.
in for free.
Yep. And then if you wanted to plug in Pocket Plus
Yeah.
or some other thing, then you pay for the premium version.
That's cool.
Better
I mean,
than Feedly?
That's a good question. I don't know. Feedly is really good. It's an alternative to Feedly.
It's
How's
cleaner
that?
than Feedly, because Feedly's presentation is a little fluffed up. So
Yeah,
if you want
yeah.
something really that looks like Google News.
Yeah, this looks like it belongs on the Android ecosystem. It's utilizing the kind of the hamburger menu and all that sort of stuff. And so it really feels at home. Great on the tablet. Using on my Nexus 7 was a great way to consume news. So, yeah.
cool.
News Plus.
News Plus. All right, so let's see here. I guess that would
Viva
mean I go.
Zapata!
What? Oh, wow. I had no idea.
You grew that fast.
Oh, yeah. You know, I've never been able to grow one of these before, but no.
I don't know.
I don't know about that one.
Oh, it's Charlie Chaplin. Of course.
Of course, that's
Of course, Charlie
Yes,
Chaplin.
exactly.
Yeah. What do you got, Jason?
So I have an app that
Such an itchy lip.
Yeah, no, it's like folded over weird here. I'm just not used to having a caterpillar on my upper lip. So my app is called Wordiest, and as far as I can tell, this is an app that has not been discovered by many people. I think it's anywhere
love
between
those.
100 to 500 installs.
Whoa.
And I got to tell you, I love it. I'm so addicted to it right now. It's basically it's a single person Scrabble. Essentially, you're given a whole list of letters. So this is kind of the start page. I'll go ahead and hit play here. I've got all these letters down here, right? And certain letters are given more of a kind of a, what's that? Oh, sorry. Thank you. There we
I
go.
can see it.
I can't see around the monitor. Certain letters are given score. So like this S, for example, it's 1 point, but it's got a 3-word score. So if I put that into a word, it triples the word score. This L has 2 L, so that means that the L, which is worth 2 points, is actually now worth 4. So essentially what you have to do is you have these 2 layers that you can spell 2 words with. So this is going to be really hard to do on the fly because I usually spend a few minutes per, but I'll just kind of go,
There's no E.
no, rigor. How about
Rigor.
that? There we
you
go. Okay, so that's 10 points. I'm riggers. Does that work?
Whoa.
There we go.
Better.
33 points. All right.
Yeah.
And then I can shuffle the rest that I have here. All right, might as well just do it because it's easy. Laid.
All right. It's not
Okay.
easy for you.
It's only easy here.
It's the mustache.
Okay, so this is I'm gonna score pretty poorly with this. So normally I would spend 4 or 5 minutes trying to get as
poorly.
many
That would
of
be
these
awesome for me.
multipliers on one level as possible. But if I hit submit, it'll take me to this page, and it's linked up through Google Plus sign on. So it tells you where all these other people have scored. This says you beat 93 lower rated players. So you can scroll through here and see what they did to get there. Up here is 4 higher rated players beat you. What did the highest rated person beat me with? Gigolos and braids. So Gigolo's got them 42 points, braids
That's
got
a
them
good
12.
word. That's a lot
So you
better.
can kind of check out how you
That's cool.
scored.
Data
This is cool.
visualization of the scores.
And, it tells you right up here, 93% of other players, you beat them. My total rating, 97.2, fell by 0.8% to 96.4. So that's how I'm doing right now. Then you can go into the leaderboard and check how you do compared to people in your circles. So Rachel's obviously kicking butt. There I am, 99.2 compared to the other people that are kind of in my circles or public, so I can open it up really wide and kind of see how badly I'm doing there. Apparently I'm 55th, so that's not horrible, but best score across all games, as well as best second word score. So obviously your second word is always going to be scored less than your first, because you're going to go for it on your first word. And so Rachel has 52, and I think my highest is 32, so I'm
Now,
set.
these are all the people that have played these specific letters, right?
Yes, so every game that you play, they've also
Right.
They've had
been
the same
given
challenge.
They've had
that
the same
combination.
Yeah. So it's like a combination
That's nice,
of
actually. The
Scrabble,
level playing field.
Boggle, and that Teapot game from Great Britain.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's addictive. Like, I start playing this, I shouldn't do this, but right before bedtime, and I end up, staying up for like another hour playing it, because I just want to get my total rating up and beat the people that are ahead of me. It's
Yeah.
really fun.
Ooh, my wife's going to love this.
So it's called Wordiest, and it's just a
It's
great
a good find.
single-player game that
find it?
still you're competing against other people. It's just on your own rule, on your own time.
Your wife's going to love this, big boy.
Oh, yeah.
That's what your wife's
We
going to
call it the tickler.
All right.
All right. Am I?
No, you are last.
I'm
because
last.
you won.
Oh, that's right.
Leo,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are
do I get a QR code? I mean, did they figure out how to do all that automatically?
I didn't know yours ahead of time.
Mine is going to
but,
be called Clash
we'll get it in
of
there.
Clans. It's a strategy game. Actually, the company that made it is a Finnish company called Supercell. And this is a freemium game. Now, I know a lot of times when we show you a freemium game, people go, oh, crap, I don't want to get sucked into another Simpsons Tapped Out where I have to buy a bunch of donuts. Well, you don't. In fact, you can play this game very well, very easily, very nicely without ever spending money. I recommend that you don't. I spent $20 to buy gems for Supercell just because I think this is such a well-done game. It never crashes. It's really reliable. I know it's hard to see on this little, oh, nice job, on this little Moto X screen. The idea is you have a little territory here, and you're going to build your town up. You're going to reinforce it. You're going to add defenses. You're going to mine gold. You're going to mine elixir. And then you have two things you can do. You can defend, and people are attacking me all the time. I recently have a number of successful defenses against attacks. You get trophies for successful defenses. Or you can go out and attack on your own once you feel like you've got enough soldiers trained in your training. Now, the gems allow you, of course, to speed up things, but there's nothing you can't do that you have to get gems, except for additional builders' huts, which I don't recommend you do. What's great about Clash of Clans, it's a very social game. We've created a clan, TWiT. Don't join. It's already full, 50 people in there. But these are all TWiT listeners and viewers who are in the clan. You can do a couple of things in a clan. You can ask for troops from other clan members, and they can supply troops to your clan castle, or you can supply troops to them. They help you then go out on raiding parties. And then finally, in the real game here is the strategy game of attacking other towns. You'll find a match that is based on the number of trophies you have. So this is a town that is ostensibly on the same level I am. I've built up my troop level here, and I can go in and I can start attacking of a variety of troops. I'm going to send in some bombers to break down the walls here. I'm going to send in some balloons to attack the defenses, maybe some wizards on the side. We can zoom in, we can watch the attack, and of course, when you have a successful attack, you're going to get not only gold and elixir, but you may get additional additional trophies. It is a very fun, very strategic game.
awesome.
Cool.
It is about it's kind of almost chess-like. I mean, there's a lot of strategy in this and a lot of fun. It's called Clash of Clans. Supercell has been immensely successful with this. They make, according to Forbes, $2.4 million a day on this free game.
Wow.
And that's because I don't think people do that because they have to buy gems, but they want to buy gems. They want to support them. It is, unlike Simpsons Tapped Out, which crashed all the time, this works really well. It's fully cross-platform. I like this too. When you sign in to Google Plus, it will store your game, and you can put it on any other Android device. It also works on iOS, so that you don't have to, restart your village on each platform.
Right. So that's the Google Play. What do they call that? The Google Play Google Games. Google Play Games.
It's a Google Games, although you do it through Google Plus. I think this is really, really nicely, really nicely
Play
done.
games, yeah.
Did you say you were attacking other real people? So you get attacked too?
So those are real people, and real people will attack me back. I can see the log of attacks. Unfortunately, I've defended. You can even, if you get attacked, seek revenge by going back and attacking their town. So the social aspect of this is quite good. We have a very active clan. It has its own web page. People, chat in the clan chat here. We're talking to one another. It's really small on this Moto X. I could show it to you on an iOS
I'm sure it looks
device,
a lot better
but
on a
I think
tablet.
you probably don't want to see an iPad right now. I have to say, this is really to me the current game to be played on Android or iOS. It's called Clash of Clans.
Cool.
Awesome.
Take that.
Boom.
Charlie
Love it.
Chaplin.
I almost installed that earlier today. Now I think I'm going to go back and install it.
No,
So-
you know what? Be careful because it sucks you in. It's very deep. It's slow to start though. My suggestion is to build a defensible town first before you go out and attack, and don't over upgrade your town hall. Upgrade everything around it first.
Those freemium strategy, I played City Island for like 3 months, and I was just obsessed. Sitting on BART, just doing it.
If they're well designed, they
So
will
good.
suck you in.
Yeah.
What I hate the ones that ultimately you feel like I've got to buy something to play this game.
Right, yeah.
This is like Candy Crush Saga. This is not one of those. You don't pester people. You don't have to buy anything. It plays very well without doing that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Cool.
Awesome. And finally, Aaron,
Yes.
winner of last week's or
This
2
is going
weeks
to be
ago.
tough. It's going to be tough to pull 4 in a row, but especially with this mustache on. What is this?
I think it's
the
very
mustache
dapper.
empowers you.
Yeah, it's
Makes you stronger.
classy. It's classy.
Hercule Poirot.
We'll see. Hopefully the mustache will help me win 4 in a row. So my pick this week, as we were saying, there's lots of games in the market, right?
Yeah.
One of the genres that's there. I don't know. Are you guys big into arcade? You go to the arcade when you were?
Battle Zone, baby.
So one of the first games that allowed you to get power-up rewards was a game called 1940. I don't know which one came out
1942.
first, but 1942
Yeah.
was
Okay.
1941, 1943. I think there was there was maybe 3 or 4 different versions of those.
That Midway game.
A Midway,
Midway,
exactly. Good memory. So this is something like that. It's called Aces of the Luftwaffe.
Oh, that's a great game.
So I don't know if you guys have
I'm a
played
fan
this.
of that.
Yeah. Well, there we go. I got a couple people already.
Damn.
Hang on, this has got to come off for a second.
Sorry.
He says,
I had to.
Jawohl, I love
had
it, the
to.
full fluffler.
You really
Luftwaffe
a
good.
Luftwaffe game. When
I'm a fan of that.
I'm just saying, I have a dream, and it's just,
That's awful. Terrible.
I didn't plan it that way, but
Look, it's just synergy right now.
the magic that is all about Android, right here.
just saying.
Going, it was such a loser. Go ahead.
All right.
do we need to do the review? I don't know.
I think you won.
I think you probably win, but you might as well show it.
Oh, there we go. Here's the video. That's not the way the game looks, though. That's the publicity. That's a cutscene. All right, real quick, let's do this. So, if you haven't played this game before, it's basically just like 1942, 1941. Find your favorite, pull out your favorite game. Let's go ahead and take off. You can. This is a game. Again, it's freemium. You can buy stuff for this game, but you don't need to. You can just keep doing the missions until you have enough points to progress to the next level. So I'm going to skip that. We'll get into the game. The beauty of this game is the interface. It's literally you just touch the screen and move your plane around. It automatically fires. It's really cool. If you haven't tried this out, you've got to try it out. And then, of course, like I mentioned, you do get the power-ups. So you get multi-planes. You get scatter shot. You get machine guns. Oh, let's see if I can get it. Can I get it? There we go. think I got it. Oh, I got machine guns. Cool.
So this is kind of like the arcade game.
It's
good.
exactly
this is-
well, not
yeah, it reminds
exactly.
me
I
of
mean,
that,
it's
yeah.
pretty close. There's actually some side scrolling involved as well. So with the original game, you couldn't side scroll like this. It was just
cool. Yeah.
But they are. Oh, I've got multiple planes. This game is so much fun, and it's if you haven't tried it, if you love this style of game, you gotta go get it. I do, because if you've ever been around me when my phone goes off, it plays the Xevious theme from
I love Xevious.
So one of my favorite games of all time. So I could play this all day, but I would highly recommend you go out and pick up this game if you haven't already. It is free, and you can buy like extra special things to make you do better, or you can just keep playing the basic levels until you get enough points where you can buy the access to the second level and so forth. So here's a special. Sorry.
So many jokes I can make that I'm not.
So anyway, that's what it is. I won't
Showing
take up
great restraint.
any more time, but that's what it is. So it's really cool. If
It
you
reminds me of Zaxxon. Somebody mentioned Zaxxon.
yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah,
Zaxxon.
right.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
Zaxxon.
Zaxxon was like one of the first sort of 3D-ish kind of games. You had to get the perspective in order to play really well. But that is Aces of the Luftwaffe. Go out there, battle Hitler. battle this guy.
So you got to tell me, Ron, did you actually know that game, or were you making a joke?
I was making a joke.
Oh, nice.
Come on, yeah, no.
Well played. Well played.
Yay!
Well played, my friend.
Okay, so that's what an arena is all about right there. So for awesome apps in the arena, which is your favorite? Is it News Plus? Is it Wordiest? Clash of Clans, or Aces of the Luftwaffe? I hope I said that right. AAPoll.com/142. AAAPoll.com/142 to let us know what you think is your favorite. Early reports are in, and boom, Wordiest coming out on top. But last week, well, see, these
only a
early
few
reports
votes,
mean nothing. Last week,
There's no votes.
Yeah, I
Scotchy's-
had like no votes.
Yeah, you had
when
no
we finished
votes.
up last week. But
and it ended up coming out. So
it was
you never
close last
know.
week. I might be able to go 4 for 4.
The long-term listeners, you got to give it's the downloaders that
Come on,
that-
people.
that- yeah,
Come on,
make the
people.
changes.
I don't think it's ever been done
It's
before.
not fair. Everybody loves waffles. It's just not right.
It's true. I think he's coming off every time I smile.
Yeah, this mustache
Yes.
is incredibly
Charlie
uncomfortable.
Charlie
by the
Chaplin,
way.
I told you that.
All right, that's it. That's all about Android. Boom.
All right.
New Year's Eve edition.
Last one of the year.
Fantastic stuff. Thank
We're
you,
Bring it in
guys.
the
7
new
minutes
year.
away from our next New Year.
Yeah.
Countdown here.
So, Leo, where can people find your work?
Plug away.
I'd be, that's the most
lost the
ridiculous
mustache.
thing I ever heard.
Gone.
Right here on
Say
the
the
TWiT
secret
Network.
word and win $1 million.
That's the best, Nick.
You can find me right here.
All right.
For the
excellent.
rest of my freaking life.
I think people know where to find you.
Yes.
Aaron, you've just, man, you've really hooked us up and helped us out all month long.
Anytime I can help.
But is Gina returning?
She is. She's returning next week.
so
So
sweet.
January
She's much
7th.
better looking than I am.
We missed her. But
She's not wearing
doesn't
that
have
mustache.
doesn't
That's
have
Not wearing the mustache yet.
no.
Maybe we'll have to get her one in.
Yeah, Gina will be back next week on the 7th, same time, 5 p.m. Pacific.
She's been missed.
But you've been
Aaron's
with us
great.
all month, all December. Really appreciate
Yeah,
it, Aaron. We always
anytime.
love having you on the
Well,
show.
I love you guys.
awesome.
And
Yeah, it's
Leo,
great.
too. It's great to have you on the show. I can't
Yeah.
believe this is your first time.
Great. Where can people find your work?
Yeah, so you can find me on Google Plus. That's the best place to find me because I can actually interact with you and make comments and talk to you and do a hangout and all that stuff. I do all that kind of thing. So follow me on Google Plus. Just go to Google Plus /Aaron Newcomb. I'm there. You can also follow me here on the TWiT Network. I do a lot of co-hosting on Floss Weekly, This Week in Google, all about Android, TNT occasionally, other shows. So yeah, just keep it tuned right here to the TWiT Network, and you'll see me pop up from time to time.
With or without?
With or without the
Stash.
mustache, yeah. Probably without.
Probably same could be said for you, Ron, I'm imagining.
Hopefully
With or
without
mustache?
without the mustache. We all hope. Let's
Hey,
just be
there you
honest.
are.
There we
Black
are.
and white.
Yeah. So you can find me at
Address. That's nice.
Classy.
Classy.
An entire mustache style completely obliterated from society. It's amazing.
No
It's
one
true.
will
Yeah,
ever
no
wear
one
that
will ever
again.
wear it ever again. Yeah,
So
for good
easy to
reason.
take care of, too.
Yeah,
All right.
but yeah, so you can find me at about.me/RonXO, where I am totally cool with democracy and not fascism at all. So there you go. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Much better than a little tramp
I need
emerges.
a little
Yeah.
Yeah, you need the potatoes.
That improves it, I think.
Yeah. So Happy New Year.
Awesome. Hey, Brian. Yeah, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah,
Where can
Brian.
people find you, Mr. Awesome TD, Technical Director
That's
of All
right.
About Android?
Thanks, Jason. People can find me on Google+. That's not the camera I was switching to. That was Aaron.
You should know I put you on the spot.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, I
it's been a long day. But Google+ or
no
Cranky Hippo
idea.
or Cranky_Hippo. Really enjoying the Moto X. So I've taken some.
Yay!
So if you want to check anything out about that, check out my Google+. Otherwise, great show, guys.
Right on. Thank you,
great
Brian.
show for you, Brian.
Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
help on the show, as always. And you can find me at about.me/Jason Howell, my musical exploits at yellowgoldmusic.com, or find me on Google+. I post a lot there as well. That is it for this week. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic new year. It was great having you guys all on board for the New Year's show. Voicemails can be left at 347-SHOW-AAA. You can send the show an email or a video mail. Just put a link into your email and send it to aaa@twit.tv. Twitter, we are at Android Show. You can find our subreddit. It's twitaaa.reddit.com. We do check that out to see what kind of stories you guys are stoked about. Show notes and past episodes found at twit.tv/AAA. And finally, you can catch us live every Tuesday starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, live.twit.tv. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android.
Happy New Year.
This man is dead and my watch has stopped. What is
okay,
next?
you can
We got
stop
3 minutes and 53 seconds
Thanks, Brian. You
to
can
the
stop it.
next countdown. And where will that countdown be?
Newfoundland.
And
mean to make it by
Newfoundland.
Nazis.
Newfoundland.
All of my ancestors.
Newfoundland. And is anybody on the line from Newfoundland? Coming up in just a little bit, we are going to... oh, Lord.
That's true.
Oh, Lord.